My wife wanted to have a garden arch over our entryway stairs, um, so that she could grow roses over it. And she looked around for quite a few, and then she found one online. And I'm going to go through in putting it together. This was the type she got. It's called Garden Arch Wide. I think it's about 1400 wide at the base. Our gateway is like 1200, so we'll see how we go. Now, the first thing you do is make sure that you've got all of the parts that it's meant to come with. Now, I've already opened up and checked off all the parts based on the instructions. Checked that I had all of the nuts and bolts, put them into another bag so they wouldn't go everywhere. And now we'll pull it all out and assemble. Sides come in two parts. These are the upper parts that have the more decorative section on it, some of the archways. Bottom sections with a rounded section to go inside the tube. These long ones form the length of the top. They go together by that section there. Now, out of these 5, 2 of them get screwed onto the top of here. The other 3 get screwed to that. So you've got to make sure from this direction they look all the same. These one have some extra holes to be attached to the sides. And then you've got some stabilizing decorative brackets as well. Now, there's 2 sizes in the bolts. There's a 50mm bolt, 30mm bolt, and they all use the same nut. It's a M6 thread on those, so you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver and a 10mm socket. If you're not fortunate enough to have been in possession of a 10mm socket because they keep going missing, a 10mm spanner is probably just as good. That's what I intend on using because it's going to be easier to get into small spaces. Assemble the long pieces by inserting one into the other. Be careful to get them the right way around like I didn't the first time, as the holes only line up in one direction. The cross rails go in the centre and at the very ends of the top. Place a 50mm bolt through both pieces and then secure with a nut just hand tightened to start with. Attach the cross rails to the top of the sides with a 50mm bolt going through both pieces, hand tighten the nut. Connect the top to the sides using a 50mm bolt through the top rail and the rail you just attached to the top of the side. Hand tighten the nuts. It was at this point that my camera decided to overheat in the Australian sun and turn off. After allowing it to cool and moving it to the shade, I went around and tightened the bolts. Using the 30mm bolts, I began attaching the stabilising braces to the frame. When attaching them to the end, you need to undo the 50mm bolt through the very end of the frame and then put on the bracket. Using a 30mm bolt, attach both braces to the side frame in the hole provided. Once they're all loosely attached, go around and tighten them all up using your screwdriver and spanner. The bottom pieces of the side frame then just slide up into the top section of the side frame. It's a bit of a squeeze, but they'll just pop in fairly securely. There you have it, not too bad, decent height. You're able to trellis things up. I'd suggest when you're putting it in, you make sure that the legs are the same distance apart as the top, so it's straight up and down. There's a fair bit of play in it. It is only a very light structure, so you want to make sure that you secure it in the ground really well. Oh, one last thing. Grab yourself a can of flat black. And just spray all the nuts so they don't stand out.